Habari Gani, Habari Gani. It's Christmas Eve, New Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and the sixth day of Kwanzaa. Hey, nephew, my beloved nephew Jeffrey. Hey, hey. Hi, Janice Rollins. You know, Janice, I was thinking as I was looking through some of my books, I was like, Janice probably gave me some of these books. If any of you can notice, way up here in my um, china cabinet is a beautiful African American family Bible with the most beautiful Afrocentric illustrations in it. And my friend Janice Rollins gave us that Bible many years ago. I'm so happy to be here with you all and to share about Kwanzaa. If you saw in my post a little while ago, based on today's theme, I am going to do some performing for you tonight. Of course, we will do our candle lighting and talk about the principle of the day. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Janice. I pray you're doing well. I pray you're doing well. Yes, it's good to see everyone coming in on this New Year's Eve, the sixth day of Kwanzaa. Yeah. Habari Gani, everyone. Habari Gani. You know the question I'm going to ask, so you can start putting in the chat. What is the principle of today? What is the principle? Oh, my bestie made it. Della Garrett. That's my best friend. You know, we've been best friends since college. You know, to be at this phase of our lives and still be best friends, that says a lot. She's the godmother of my children. I'm the godmother of her children. Delightful children. Yeah. So glad you made it. Glad you made it. Welcome, everyone. Come on in. Habari Gani. Put the principle of the day in the chat. What's today's principle? Habari Gani. That is the greeting for Kwanzaa. Habari Gani. What's the news? We say in our culture, what's happening? What you know good? What's going on? All of those things, right? Habari Gani. Oh, she said Ty is she's watching too? Hey, goddaughter. Yeah, so glad to have everyone here. We have today and tomorrow, and then it's the end of our Kwanzaa celebration. But I asked a question a few days ago. It's been for about the past year since I did Kwanzaa last year. My thinking about going live every now and then and um, telling stories and performing poetry, and I do stories, poetry, and song. Specifically related to the Black experience. And so I asked you all, if I did that, would you come? Would you join me? And people were like, yes, absolutely. So I will be doing that this year. Dr. Francine, live at 5. Yeah? So keep your eye out for that. I'll give you plenty of notice. Unlike Kwanzaa, I maybe gave you a day or so. But I'll give you plenty of notice of when I'll be going live at 5, okay? I choose 5 because I think it's kind of a balance for East Coast, West Coast. I feel some kind of way about those in Hawaii. They might still be at work. It'll be 2 o'clock there. But they're all recorded. You can get to them, okay? So, and as I begin doing that, you can start thinking there may be something you would love for me to perform, a poem you'd love for me to read. No guarantees, no guarantees, but you can certainly send me those suggestions. Brandy, hey, good to see you here. One of my former students, a brilliant student, by the way. Very smart, yes. Yeah, hi to Kelly. Um, in terms of what I'm going to be doing, Dr. Francine Live at 5 coming up in 2022. Um, like I was saying, you can send me something or, send me a direct message. Would you consider reading this? But it makes me think about once I was um, contracted to perform for the California Association of Teachers of English, CATE, CATE. And I did, a performance. I did a number of pieces. And at the end, uh, they started making requests for poems. Like, who does that, right? But you know what? Every point they would say, do you do blank? And I'd be like, yeah. And I'd perform it for them. And then someone else would say, well, do you do blank? And yes. And I'd perform it for them. It was the most hilarious thing ever. I never had request as a performing artist. So that was a lot of fun. Teachers of English, right? Teachers of English. I'll say something else that might be helpful for someone out there. Um, I see it happening quite a bit as teachers, particularly teachers of English, are presenting dialect poems or presenting work that has racial epithets in it, but it's a literature. And I've seen people get concerned about that, understandably so. And one of the things that teachers need is they need to be taught how to contextualize that work so that it does not come off offensive, but it comes off contextualized within a historical and social context. And then when you do those things, it makes sense. And the reason I'm saying this is at that very same conference, I had done a dialect poem, and a woman was like, I want to do those. And of course, this was a white teacher, and she was like, I want to do those, but I feel like I don't have the right to do them, as a white woman. And so we were able to have a great conversation about that. And what concerns me as people get upset, because teachers haven't been trained on how to contextualize it, right? And then they won't do it. So then the literature doesn't get presented to the students. So it's a balance that we're trying to find. It's a balance. There was a video that went viral in November of a white teacher presenting Native. It makes me want to cry right now when I think about it. Presenting Native stuff, and it was horrible. It was just horrible. And my thinking was, oh my gosh, for any Native children in that classroom. And sure enough, that was the one that took the video and shared how painful it was to watch her, what presented as a mockery of his culture. And so we do have to be careful, but it's about training. I do that kind of training. So if you have no issues, send me a direct message. But folks just need training in how do you present this in a proper cultural, historical, and sociological context. That's how we do it. Okay? So there was one of my rants. I hope you appreciated it. I hope you didn't mind. So Habari Ghani, everyone. Hi, April. Good to see you again. Yes, good to see you all. So what is the principle of the day? Yeah, I knew April was going to get it in there. Yes. Kuumba. Kuumba. Notice the pronunciation. There's two U's, and you hit both of those U's. Kuumba. Kuumba. Creativity. Creativity. Let's read what, as I do each day, the founder of Kwanzaa, Dr. Karenga, what does he have to say about Kuumba? Um, because it's all of these principles are a little bit more than what we think about them on at face value. All right. This one, there's something about this that really always gets me because it's something that our parents have taught us in a particular way. To do always as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it. Let me read that again. To do always as much as we can in the way we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it. What did our parents always tell us? If you go someplace, leave it better than you found it, right? I say this all the time when I talk about Kuumba, that one of the things that just, as we say, chaps my hide, is when I go to the park and I see diapers and stuff. When you go to the park, you're supposed to pick up stuff that wasn't yours, right? Leave it better than you found it, more beautiful than you found it. And so in terms of Kuumba as a Kwanzaa principle, it's not only about cleaning up, right? More beautiful. Maybe that's because you wrote a poem. Maybe that's because you created a piece of art. Maybe that's because you wrote a song or lyrics to a rap. Maybe it's because you're a scientist and you created a medication, or maybe you're an herbalist or a holistic healer and you've helped people heal. Maybe you're a therapist, right? Maybe you designed a new kind of transportation. All of those things are creativity, right? Um, One of the things I shared the other day was that one of my mottos is to whom much is given, much is required. And I am blessed both in terms of my relationships and all of those things, but also particularly my gifting as a performer, right? And so one of my responsibilities, right, is to share that gifting, right? And so that's one of the things I'm going to do tonight in terms of creativity is share some writings of folks of Black African heritage. But let's begin with lighting our candles, shall we? As I've done each night, I have my music stand here, so I have to be careful. I have our unity candle lit. That's the black candle in the middle. Umoja. Kujichagulia, self-determination. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. And today, Kuumba, creativity. And again, notice the process for lighting the candles. And so there is a song that is often sung at events uh, that are put on by folks of Black African heritage. What song is that? Put it in the chat. What is that song that we sing at our events and activities? What's the song and who wrote it? Maybe next year I'll give prizes. Huh? What's the song that we sing? What's the song that we sing? Thank you. Someone said, great stuff, my sister. Thank you. What is that song that we sing at events? Yes. Who is that? Della. Lift every voice. Lift every voice and sing. Yes. It's often called the Black National Anthem. You know, as I was preparing for tonight, I want to say two things. One of the things that we traditionally do when this song is sung is the same as we do when the national anthem of all countries is sung, is that we stand. So if you're ever in a space and someone is singing Lift Every Voice and Sing, make sure that you stand. And I have found that people are hesitant to stand. Be the first one. Be the first one to stand in respect for the Black National Anthem, as you would for the Star Spangled Banner. I was like, what's the name of that song? The name of that song. I was going to say, oh, say can you see, but that's not the name of it. That is the name of Obama's children's book, though, which is very nice. My friend Kathy Reed Bevington gave me a copy of that. So yes, lift every voice and sing. And yes, Della put the author in there. James Weldon Johnson wrote the poem, which is now the lyrics. Does anyone know who wrote the melody to Lift Every Voice and Sing? Does anyone know who wrote the melody? It's an important piece of history. Who wrote the melody for the song, Lift Every Voice and Sing. While I'm waiting for you to put that in the chat, who wrote the melody, the music, the score for Lift Every Voice and Sing, I'll share with you, you know how I was saying that I was performing at the California Association for Teachers of English, and I was invited to perform, and they began asking for requests, and one of the requests was, do you ever perform Lift Every Voice and Sing as a poem? And I was like, yeah, I do. And so that's one of the things I'd like to start with today, with Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Black National Anthem, as a poem, because it was written as a poem. And then the music was put to it. I'm waiting. I don't see anyone that has put in who wrote the music, but it was James Weldon Johnson's brother. I believe his name was Rosemond Johnson. So the Johnson brothers did Lift Every Voice and Sing. And again, it's known as the Black African. Thank you, Della got it. She Googled it. Ty, did you Google that? Is it Rosemond? Did I say it right? I can't quite see. Yeah, it looks like it's. Yeah, so that's an important piece of history. And the other thing, I was chatting with my daughter about this. You know, I've talked a lot. It's been interesting this year about Kujichagulia, self-determination. We get to determine for ourselves. Don't switch things around on us. And there's a line in Lift Every Voice and Sing where James Weldon Johnson wrote, and what my daughter and I, just figured out is that he wrote this particular word in Black dialect. And to me, he did it for a reason. And people change it a lot. The line is high as the listening skies. And people change it to listening skies. we determine the meaning probably is listening skies. The skies are listening. Maybe it's God is listening, right? But the lyrics are listening, List apostrophe Ning. So let's don't change that, right? Those of you who are vocalists that may be called on to sing it, it isn't listening skies. That is not what James Weldon Johnson wrote. He wrote listening, right? That has a nice little ring to it. I was reading a really great, what's the word? Kind of in-depth study of this poem that I really, really was enjoying, that talked about what do the different pieces mean. And that's one of the reasons I began performing this as a poem, is because sometimes I think we sing the song, and because every time I sing the song, I'm moved because the words are so powerful. But I think sometimes we just sing it. It's like the Lord's Prayer. I think sometimes people just recite it by rote, and they don't really focus on the words and the meaning. And so that's why I decided at one point to begin performing James Weldon Johnson's poem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Let me pick this up. Lift Every Voice and Sing. Words by James Weldon Johnson, music by his brother, J. Rosemond, I believe, Johnson. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope, unborn, had died. Yet, with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to a place for which our fathers sighed? We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our paths through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on our way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path, we pray. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. The Black National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing. I have been called on occasion to sing that song. And I tell people all the time that I am not a vocalist, like my dearly departed brother, Arthur Lee Broaddus, or my beloved sister in love, Reverend Gloria Broaddus. But I'm an actress, so I act like I can sing. That was Lift Every Voice and Sing. Lift Every Voice and Sing. As a poem, which it was written as a poem. And then again, the music was added to it. And so I talked about dialect poem and the dialect of listening versus listening. And so I thought I would do another dialect poem by Paul Laurence Dunbar. It's one of my favorites. There's another one that I've not, I don't think I've ever performed it, but there may be some of you who are, Adela, you might have gone with me to this women's conference once where my mother performed it, and that is James Weldon Johnson's The Party. Ooh, that's a good one. So one of these days, I'll get The Party under my belt. But my mama did the party at the women's conference, and everybody was like knocked out of their seats. It was so amazing. But I'm going to do not James Weldon Johnson's, but Paul Laurence Dunbar's dialect poem, When Melindy Sings. When Melindy Sings. Go away and quit that noise, Miss Lucy. Put that music book away. What's the use to keep on trying? If you practice till you gray, you can't stop no notes a flying like the ones that rant and rings from the kitchen to the big woods when Melinda sings. You ain't got the natural organs for to make the sound come right. You ain't got the turns and twisters for to make it sweet and light. I'll tell you one thing now, Miss Lucy, and I'm telling you for sure, when it comes to right singing, man, that ain't no easy thing to do. Oh, easy enough for folks to holler, looking at the lines and dots, and no one can sense it, and the tune it be coming in spots. But for real melodious music that just strikes your heart and clings, just you stand and listen with me when Melinda sings. What? You ain't never heard Melinda? Bless his soul, take up the cross. Now look here, ain't you fooling, honey? Well, you don't know what you lost. You ought to hear that girl a wobbling. Robins, larks, all them things. They hush their mouths and hide their faces when Melinda sings. Fiddler man, just stop his fiddling. Lay the fiddle on the shelf. Mockingbird, he quit trying to whistle, 'cause he just so ashamed of himself. Folks are playing on the banjo, drops their fingers on the string. Bless your soul. They forgets to move them when Melinda sings. She just spreads a mouth and hollers, "Come to Jesus," till you hear sinners, trembling steps and voices, timid like a draw near. Then she turns to Rock of Ages. Simply to the cross she clings, and you find your tears are dropping when Melinda sings. Who that say that humble praises what the master never counts? Hush your mouth. I hear that music as it rises up and mounts, floating by the hills and valleys way above this barren sod, as it makes its way to glory, to the very gates of God. Oh, it's sweeter than the music of an educated band, and it's dearer than the battle songs of triumph in the land. It seems holier than evening when the solemn church bells ring, as I sit and calmly listen when Melinda sings. Tosa, stop that barking. Mandy, make that child keep still. Don't you hear the echoes calling from the valley to the hills? Let me listen. I can hear it through the brush of angels' wings. Ooh, soft and sweet. Swing low, sweet chariot, when Melinda sings. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Paul Lawrence Dunbar, when Melinda sings. Ah, that's a fun poem to do. That's really, really a lot of fun to do. This is my manuscript of all the different poems that I do. I'm going to do a few more for you. One poem that I like to do is, I'm going to do two. One is really short, and I love it. I love it. Makes me sad because the poem is by a writer. His name is Henry Dumas, D-U-M-A-S. Henry Dumas. Thank you, Della. Della said, I love it. Thank you for the applause. Thank you. Henry Dumas. And I learned from my friend and colleague, Thomas Witt Ellis, who is a faculty in theater at Fresno State, that Dumas died when he was like in his 20s. And, you know, it just makes me sad to discover someone and find out that they're already gone. This poem is really quick, so you got to pay attention because it's over like that. But I think it packs a powerful punch. And it's called Valentine's. Valentine's by Henry Dumas. Forgive me if I have not sent you a Valentine, but I thought you knew. You already have my heart. Here, take the hole where my heart goes to. I missed a line. I give that to you too. That is Henry Dumas, Valentine's. Forgive me if I have not sent you a Valentine, but I thought you already knew that you already have my heart. Here, take the space where my heart goes. I give that to you too. Now that's some kind of love, right? That's some kind of love. We're doing Kuumba today, creativity. How beautiful is that? We talked about Kuumba being leaving the community better than you found it. This young man left this for us, right? Left this for us. So you think that poem is something. So this poem, I do a one woman show. There's several of you uh, that have seen my one woman show. Jeanette, I see you there. Of course, my bestie Della's been there. April Jackson's been there. She actually participated in it. So did Della, right? In my one woman show, I do this section of praise songs, and I do like. I don't know what you come to do. I don't know what you come to do. I come to praise the Lord, the Lord. That call and response. And I would just leave it for the audience. I was like, come on, somebody out there, you know this song. Somebody pick it up, because it is one that this one sings it, then that one picks it up. And April was the one in one night that picked it up. And she was like, okay, where's my cut for performing in the show? I remember that, April. So I will be doing my one woman show in the near future, so keep your eyes and ears open for that. But this is a poem that I do, and I'm laughing at this because my dental hygienist came to the show with her husband. And after the show, but the next time I went to the dentist and she was doing my cleaning, she said, yeah, my husband's favorite poem was that Water for My Bath poem. I was like, okay, and you'll see why. And the single women in the show are like, you know what? That is not even fair. That is not even fair. And I always say that I do this poem for my beloved, Reverend Dr. Ifeanyi Chukwu Oputa. Y'all have to forgive me. To keep my throat from getting too dry, I had some gum in my mouth, so I'm going to take it out. Don't look. Okay, thank you. Oh. So this is called Water of Your Bath. Now, how's this for timing, right? Pastor's walking in the door just now as I'm about to do his poem. He's trying to sneak in. Water of Your Bath. And the author, I haven't been able to find any more work by this author, but they have a one name, a single name, and it's Amasi, Ahmasi, Amasi. I wish I could be the water of your bath. I would surround you with mellow warmth, liquid love, like a frolicking childish wave on the sandy shore. I would dash and break upon the firmness of your body, engulf and moisten the places I dream of. If I were the water of your bath, I would memorize each and every muscle. And being liquid, I would take your shape, mold myself to your every curve, your every indentation. I would roll on, over, and off your satin skin. If I were the water of your bath, I would send part of me to gather in the recess of your navel. There, my temperature would rise to match yours, and like plants of the sea, I would move your body hairs in and out with the tide created by your movements playfully. If I were the water of your bath, I would slosh against your thighs and become very intimate with your nature. If I were the water of your bath, I would cleanse you as my ancestors, the Nile and Congo, cleansed your ancestors, but even more. When you leave me and pull the plug, I would defy the natural order of things and stay and wait for your naked return. Hmm. Ooh, ooh. I love doing that. And the people say, she's a pastor's wife. That's right. Read Song of Solomon. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes. Yes. So, that's what I wanted to do. I mean, I've got a folder here full of poems and stories. Uh, but that's what I wanted to do for you today. Just highlight the creativity of some of our writers and, highlight for you one area of creativity of mine. I hope you've enjoyed it. And is that Sharia? Hey, Sharia. Oh, that's my friend from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. No, Lemoyne? Lemoyne. I think it's right next door. Right next door. Yeah. So, somebody said, I know that's right. Our people were and are so creative. That's right, Janetta. Yeah. So I wanted to share a couple of poems and things for you this evening in honor of tonight's Kwanzaa Kuumba. Kuumba. Are we good? Or would y'all like one more? Let me know. Are we good? Thank you, Sharia. Sharia said, yes, one more. You find a short one. There's a poem I think it's, you know what? You know what I'll do? I think this would be a good way to end. I was thinking about doing a Maya Angelou, but I think I will do a poem. There are two poems that I kind of know them from the top of my head, so if I don't see them in here, we'll see if I can do them from the top of my head. The two poems I like to do together. One is Langston Hughes, Harlem. Most people think the name of the poem is Dream Deferred, but the poem is also actually called Harlem. And I pair it with a poem by a more contemporary writer who's actually a teacher in the Long Beach school system. Her name is Regina Cheney. Her family is a well-known family in the Long Beach area. So I'm doing these from my head, so hopefully I'll remember all the words to both of these two poems that I put together. Harlem, and Regina's poem is called Got to Catch My Dream. It'll be a good way to end the night, and then we'll do a Harambe's, okay? Langston Hughes, of course, being a poet from the Harlem Renaissance. Yeah. Give me a moment. And Langston Hughes begins his poem with a question. Sorry, not about George Floyd. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? Raise me out of shackles, release my hands, let me breathe. Just let me stretch my legs and run. I gotta go. I gotta catch my dream, Lord. Children, can't you hear it singing? Oh, it's a sweet melody. Shh, listen. There it goes. Do you see it? It's just ahead there. Brighter than New York's Broadway. Sweeter than honey syrup on hot butter biscuits. Lord, children, stronger than a black man's love. Early in the morning. I got to go now. Got to go. I'll see y'all in the morning, but I got to go now. Got to catch my dream. I cannot believe the lines in that song. Let me breathe. Regina wrote that poem in the 70s. In the 70s. So important that we all pull together, right? Pull together and help one another, help our children, help young people catch their dreams. Let's do our Harambe. Ready? Harambe, let's all pull together 7 times. Harambe! 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 Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. A blessed New Year. I pray God's richest blessings on each of you. I pray that you have prosperity and no lack. I pray that you walk in abundance. I pray for divine health and healing. I pray for peace and comfort for each and every one of you.